All right, welcome everyone to our Wednesday College and Career Workshops here with the SAIL program. My name is Megan and I'm the program manager for SAIL. That stands for the Summer Academy to Inspire Learning, but of course we do things all year round. And here our afternoons on Wednesdays, we devote to a workshop, presentation, or a panel that can help you really think about how you can be ready for college or career. And that we today we have a really cool panel with us today to help us think about maybe some of the career side, but also the college side. So it kind of is a little bit of both. And we're joined by two students who are part of the MAPS program here at the University of Oregon. They both are in science degree programs, and they do a lot of work with students who are in college and then students who are aspiring to be in healthcare and science fields. So we'll be chatting today in more of a panel style format about what it's like to be a student in those fields and how you can get involved if that's kind of how you envision your future. So our format today, as always, is we love having questions from our audience. So you can use that chat function through YouTube to ask any questions that you have at any time, and we'll make sure those get to our panelists. And really just utilize that for anything that you're curious about. We're here for you to answer any questions. And if you're watching this and it's not live, if you're watching a recorded version, you're always welcome to leave a comment under the video or send us an email at salesstaff@uoregon.edu if there's a question that we can answer for you. So without any further ado, I would love to have our panelists introduce themselves. I think first we'll have Tulsi and then Bree. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Hi, my name's Tulsi. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a first year at the University of Oregon, and I'm majoring in chemistry.
Thank you for having us. My name is Bree. I go by pronouns she, her, hers. I am a third year, graduating this year in biology with a minor in chem, and I am from Hillsborough.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I'm going to kick us off. We have a lot of great questions here, but I would love to kick us off with kind of a more general question, which is what kinds of classes do you take and kind of what is that workload like? It'd be great to hear both of you answer that because I know you're at different places in kind of starting and maybe being towards the end of your journey in college. So would love to hear from both of you in whatever order works best.
So since I'm a first year, most of my classes are general education and mostly groundwork science classes. So currently, as a first year student, I'm taking the chem sequence. I actually already had credit for the lecture sequence, but I am taking the lab. I'm also in a bio class. So that's kind of the groundwork there, and then also some calculus classes to help with that.
At this point, I'm taking like all upper division bio classes. We have like tons of opportunities or like various fields. Like one of the ones that I didn't know I'd love as much as I do is like tropical ecology. And then so with like the pre-med track, if that's what you're kind of thinking, we definitely have like a lot of general sequences, like the chemistry one that Tulsi was talking about. So you have to take Gen Chem and with a lab, and that's pretty fun. I liked it. And then OChem and OChem lab, which I liked even better. For like a bio major, you don't have to take the OChem lab. I think you only have to take it one term. And then like just a little bit of math, not too much. There are like tons of options for bio. So if you like have any interest in it, there's plenty of places to pursue, like if you have any interest, like whether it's medical or not.
Great answers. Thank you so much. Maybe something that I think would be helpful to follow up with that is what are the differences that you found between classes on similar topics that you might take in high school and then that transition into college? So what could someone expect in making that transition?
If you are taking any AP classes, so those count for credit. So if you took AP Bio in high school, that entire year, if you got like credit for it, then that entire year is actually what you end up learning in 10 weeks at UO. Otherwise, it's also technically, I think, 12 or 16 weeks for semester systems. Depends on what colleges you're looking at. Yeah, and yeah.
I would say around the same lines. I didn't take AP. I ended up doing IB instead, International Baccalaureate. So that's a little different from AP, but the same system applies. The credit still applies. It's really nice to have like an entire thing wiped out in terms of like general requirements and stuff like that. But I would say the science classes, usually it's like the next level up. Most of the time, the work, it might just be like deeper material. So you might learn a particular topic in chemistry, and then they'll go behind, or they'll get into more developed theories behind that particular phenomenon. So that's kind of like the next level in that sense. And then usually in high school science classes, you might not have a lot of lab experience, but there's like an entire lab class devoted to chemistry and also OChem and I think bio as well.
So it sounds like, and you can add on to this if there's more to be said, but it seems like maybe there definitely is an emphasis on math and science if this is a track that you want to pursue. So we have a question here is, do you have to be good at math and science? And maybe the follow-up would be, if you're not, maybe, or you don't feel super strong in those areas, what advice do you have, or what might someone do? And I think all of these, we can have you both answer them because I love that you both have different perspectives.
I feel like Tulsi, being a chemistry major, will have to be a lot better at math. I am okay at math. I haven't done it now since freshman year, my first term. So at this point, I probably cannot do basic algebra, but I don't use it. You use a little bit of statistics if you're looking at like ecology and stuff and trying to understand and model things and like actually test and research. But if you're just like doing your classes, you don't necessarily need them. And just practicing with it is going to help you get better. And know that if it interests you, then definitely there are many ways that you could find to apply it, but you don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, as a chemistry major, I do have to take, so your first year usually is 251 unless you have another class before that. But most science, they say that you start at 251. And then for chemistry majors specifically, I know of you have to take another two classes that are above the 251 series. So that in itself does mean that I have to be kind of good at math, but I don't think, but like as Bree said, it's honestly dependent on what your major is, and then also like there are so many resources and ways to um, kind of increase your just how you're dealing with math and just have so many resources to get better at it.
Awesome. Thank you. I think that's such a big, I don't know if myth is the right word, but I think sometimes that steers people away if they feel like maybe they aren't good at it. So it's great to hear those different perspectives. Tulsi, you just mentioned resources, and I think that's a great thing to kind of touch on here. So do either of you, I would love if either of you could share kind of your support systems through any campus resources that you found to be particularly helpful, or if you have any advice on kind of utilizing resources on campus or finding support on campus.
I'd say office hours. I mean, this is only my second term, so I'm still getting into the rhythm and trying to figure out the resources I do have available, especially because everything's virtual this year, so it's kind of harder to figure out where things are. But I would say office hours are a huge, huge help, especially because a lot of times people will be like, okay, it's kind of there if you need it, if you don't, but like just go to it. It's like the best thing ever. Professors genuinely want to help you. So I would say that's been my biggest saving grace for this particular term and even last term.
And yeah, that's definitely a great resource. The office hours are so beneficial. It also helps you build relationships with your peers and your teachers. And for like the math classes, we actually have resources with, I think it's at the night library, it might not be there, but you can get free tutoring. And I'm not sure if that's currently going on due to COVID, but normally that is a thing. So if you are worried about math, there is that resource for you. And I'm pretty sure it'll be there. And then, yeah, office hours are definitely like number one. And then clubs too, like you make so many friends, you meet people who have similar interests and want to like do similar things, or you can even go and join a club that you don't really know much about and then learn and just do a lot of like uh, learning and about yourself as well.
I'll just add to that real quick. A lot of science classes, I don't know about math ones, but I know science classes have class encores, and there's like tons of tutoring sessions as well. So those I would say are really helpful as well. And then on top of that, there usually are just Discord chats, and like people and peers will be super willing to help you out. So everyone's in the same boat. So you're more than likely to find someone who's willing to help you.
That's wonderful. So I know I wanted to talk a little bit about maps, and while we're kind of on the topic of support systems and different groups that you can join or be a part of on campus, why don't you tell us a little bit about maps and your involvement and how that fits in with kind of or yeah, kind of your journey in college, and we can touch a little bit too on the mentoring program, but maybe we'll touch on that more at the end, but whatever you want to share.
So MAPS is like the Minority Association for Pre-Medical Students. And this club has definitely like been an amazing opportunity. I recently joined in September, and I've met some of my like closest friends, and or like some of my friends were on the board and stuff and got me to join, and it's been an amazing opportunity. We're basically trying to reach out and make sure that we're trying to negate like the inequalities and injustices within like the medical infrastructure and just treatment and practice, and reaching out to local communities and trying to help out. Um, and the people in there are just excited to learn and excited to help. Definitely helping others is like our key like goal. We want to just be there to be able to help, and I think that there are tons of other clubs like that, but MAPS is just a wonderful opportunity. And if you go to U of O and you want to join, you are absolutely welcome to. We are always happy to have new members.
Chelsea, anything else to share on maps or how you get involved, or um, yeah, what it's been like to be a part of it so far?
So far, we've been talking about the mentorship program. So that's usually where we have one or two mentors paired up with a particular mentee, and then we're honestly just there to help give advice on the college application process, what college is like, how to work through high school. You maybe even offer resources on uh, FAFSA or like financial aid. The entirety of what the college application process is and what college is like is what we're here to help with. So aside from just like the medical aspect and providing resources with that, it's also about the college part, and it's helping ensuring success for especially again the minority groups.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit more about your experience. Um, here's a question. So when we're talking about these kind of tracks or maybe ultimate career goals or your majors, um, what are your classes pre-assigned? How much flexibility do you have in your schedule to pick your classes? And how can you kind of customize that to you as a student?
So again, as a first year, I'm working through the general university requirements and also general major requirements. So the bulk of my current workload is towards the requirements for the science major that I'm in, which is chemistry. But what is nice is as you get into the upper division, you will be able to start taking, or that's what I've looked at. But I'm pretty sure Bree can talk about that more. But you get more variability with the upper division classes.
Yeah, my first 2 years were pretty highly structured. Only once I started being able to do upper division like bio classes, I was actually able to really choose and be able to make a schedule that was actually kind of nice. Right now I have 4 8 a.m.s, so that's not very pleasant, but it's on material that I find really interesting. And so you can like once you get up there, then you can schedule based off of your interests and what actually works with your schedule. Um, yeah, there are tons of opportunities to study whatever you want. You can, like at this point, I'm only taking 12 credits. And usually you'll take like 15 or so or more. They recommend 15, and once you get a little bit like further on, you're able to just relax a little bit, focus on those really intense courses, and just get more understanding with the material.
So this question piggybacks on this one a little bit, and maybe what the first one is getting at. Do you have room in your schedule for like fun classes or ones that don't, excuse me, necessarily contribute to your major, or ones that might be just kind of for your own personal interest?
I do get to choose a couple of fun classes. I think for me right now, it's about one or two per term. So that's usually on the lower end. I think usually you get maybe one or two more than that. But, and again, just with the variability in the upper division classes. But even in like in the first year, I would say that I've been able to pick a couple of classes that I actually wanted to take that would be considered outside of my major.
I have been trying to cram everything into 3 years instead of 4. So I've been not really super free with it, but this year is my first year that I am able to take 12. And then I'm actually technically taking, with a community college, I'm taking Spanish for the first time. I'm super excited about that. So I have enough time, and you can absolutely do it. And yeah, there are those opportunities out there to go ahead and choose to. I know people that will take like 21 credits. I wouldn't quite recommend it. You can do well if you spend a lot of time on it, but you got to keep in like you got to give yourself time to like actually have some time to yourself at that point.
So when you're thinking about putting your schedule together, what classes you might want to take, um, I think it makes a lot of sense to kind of think about what your ultimate goal is. So would both of you be willing to share kind of what your career goals are, if they've changed as you've kind of gone through school or gotten to take some more classes? Um, and yeah, let's start there. Kind of ultimate goals and if they've changed or yeah, changed course at all as you've experienced new classes or new professors or classmates' interests.
So currently I am a pre-med student, and I have followed that path because like that's where I see myself being able to help the most people. And like that's mainly one of like the biggest aspects of like my life where I feel like I have the most purpose. And but I think that the college has definitely given me so many opportunities to explore like what places I see myself in, because you don't have to like be pre-med in order to help people, and you don't necessarily have to help people either. You can go into sustainable agriculture. That's one thing that I've explored a little bit. I've gotten involved with like a lab that looks into that, and it's really, really fascinating, and it's wonderful research that should be done. And I've definitely had the experience to definitely think about it. I'm still thinking about it. I don't know if that's actually what I want to do with my life. I have no idea really, but that's the track that I'm leaning towards.
So I'm in a similar position. I'm a pre-med student. I've had brief stints of maybe I do want to do this, maybe I don't, in high school. So I was also in a business club called DECA. So I did have a particular interest in doing public health administration at some point. But I think now I'm actually much more inclined to do take on a physician's role. So I have since chemistry, and I've actually been my preferred for preferred, I guess, career or profession would be an anesthesiologist. But again, that's completely subject to change, as I believe would be. So, yeah.
Incredibly mathy. Oh my goodness.
Do you want to, for maybe we have students out there who aren't super familiar with some of the kind of more specific careers that happen in healthcare? Would either of you be willing to, like an anesthesiologist is a really specific type of role. Would either of you be willing to share a little bit more with our students who might not know what those are, what those people do?
Well, okay, I'll just go off about anesthesiology for a second. But anesthesiologists typically work with the administration of anesthesia, and that can be either like total or just general anesthesia. So like if you've ever gotten, I don't know, say, I don't know, I'm like trying to think of something. So I personally had a time where my tooth had to get filled for a cavity, and it's like general, or like putting a cap in. So they do use local anesthesia for that. Even during surgeries, anesthesia. And so anesthesiologists will have to gauge the patient's physiological condition and then provide anesthesia accordingly, and then also monitor vitals during the surgical period. In terms of public health administration, like I mentioned before, it's usually like the administrative side. So while you're not the person dictating the patient's physiological or medical basis or whatever they're going through, you are the one handling the administration behind all of that. So hospitals, clinics, anything along those lines, they're usually the people handling more the finances and the business part of administration and public health.
Yeah, there are tons of opportunities within the healthcare system. We also have like medical assistants or CNAs, certified nursing assistants. You have like registered nurses, you have phlebotomists. Phlebotomists are the people that draw your blood. CNAs and MAs are generally like the people, handling the stuff that's kind of not too great. And then registered nurses do so much for like the healthcare system, and definitely get a much larger interface with the patients and treatment. But the physicians are the ones that we all kind of like think about, right, as like being the doctors, but we also have like physician assistants who can do quite a bit of the same things, and that requires not quite the same amount of schooling, but pretty close to. A nursing degree is 4 years, so a bachelor's degree, so you could major in that if you wanted to, of course. And then if you got a degree in nursing, you could go on to become a nurse practitioner later on, and that's another opportunity. And some nurse practitioners can go on to having their own private practice as well, like physicians can. So there's tons of options, and then so many subspecialties: immunology, radiology, endocrinology, laryngeology, or laryngeology, I think is how you pronounce it. I don't know. There are just so many opportunities and places that you could find yourself in.
That's awesome. I think you both have done a really good job of highlighting like what a team it takes to provide healthcare and to be a part of that system, and that there are so many different places to get involved. So I think this question is pretty relevant here. What if someone knows that they want to be in healthcare or in the sciences, but they don't know exactly what they want to major in? Can they come in not knowing? And if they decide later on, can they still be on track to graduate? And I know it's kind of a technical question, but if you have some insight on what that process could look like.
I have tons of friends who have switched their majors so many times and they're on track. There's no need to worry. A lot of like the pre-med stuff, all of the requirements, so like Gen Chem, OChem, statistics, and biology, all of those overlap, right? For a lot of the STEM, you don't have to go STEM either, as long as you did those prereqs for like, if you were considering med school, then if you did those prereqs, then you can do whatever major that you enjoy. So you can just take a couple classes, see if you like it, and then continue with what you like.
Yeah, Bree covered it pretty well. I would say the exact same thing. The first year is usually, like I said several times, it's just general requirements. So I was actually considering changing my major this term, and I was looking at all the science classes that are out there, and literally biology, biochemistry, chemistry, human physiology. I looked at all 4 of them, and all 4 of them have 95% overlap for the first year. So it's honestly, you don't even need to worry until your second year. And even then, it's probably like 75% matches between those 4 anyways. And like Bree said, even if you don't choose to go pre-med, or if you do choose to go pre-med, but you want to do something else, you just have to finish all the prerequisites and you can still do other things. So it's pretty variable. You're able to do a lot.
It's an awesome thing to point out, that I didn't realize that there was so much overlap. So it really sounds like if you know that that's generally the area that you want to be, you have some time to figure it out and have that foundation built up. So let's talk a little bit about professors. We have a question. What are your professors like? Are they intimidating? Are they helpful? Sometimes you see in the movies, right, that it's like really scary. So what's your relationship with your professors like, and how are they help shape your experience?
I'm
gonna
going to meet. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Okay. I have yet to meet a professor who's been the stereotypical mean guy or mean woman. I have yet to meet a person that way, but again, this is my first term. But the professors I've had thus far have been really, really sweet, and they've been genuinely wanting to get to know you and just help you understand the material, and are genuinely interested in what you want to do usually, especially in the smaller classes. If you're in the honors college, then a lot of the professors there are just so interested in hearing about what you want to do with your life. So it's really nice to get to know them. And most of them are actually, they may seem intimidating, but once you get to know them, they're actually not.
Yeah, going off of that, one of my absolute favorite professors, he seems like really intimidating at first, but now I've like TA'd for him, and I'm taking a class with him this term, and he is a phenomenal teacher and like a great person too. His name's Alan Kelly. He teaches Bio 214. So if you ever get there, just know he's on your side. He might be a little scary, but he is on your side. I promise you. If you want to learn it, he will be there. But yeah, he's one of like, I also have loved like Krista McGuire. She's my lab PI too, so I'm a little biased. That was a tropical ecology class that like was just so great. Like I learned so much, and I'm gonna carry that knowledge with me forever. And then I also loved like Matt Barber's immunology class. And I loved Amy Connolly. She taught me Bio 214. And I am definitely a little biased. I've loved a lot of the teachers that have been my biology teachers. And a part of that might be that I just really, really like learning biology. But I also feel like those teachers have always been on the student side, wanting to make sure that they understand it, and that like if you want to understand it, like they are there to help you.
Tulsi, did you want to add anything about your experience with professors?
Sorry, could you repeat that? I just had to switch to my
Yeah,
headphones.
no worries. Yeah, I just wanted to see if you wanted to add anything about your experiences with professors, or I kind of have an add-on to the question too, so maybe this would be helpful. Bree, you touched on a lot of your favorite classes. Can either of you pick out like a special, really special lesson or an experience that you had that you think is really gonna stick with you that was a part of this program so far?
I personally loved making cinnamon soap in my OChem class. That was so much fun. I sadly didn't get to take it home because it was just barely too basic. Like my GE was like, you know what, I would let you take it, but like I don't want to get in trouble, so I didn't get to take it home. But that was so much fun. We got to take cinnamon sticks, isolate the compound that makes like the cinnamon smell. Like, so we basically extracted the essential oil, and then we made soap and added cinnamon, and that was a lot of fun. I also I really like all the lab stuff, so I really enjoyed like getting to look under the microscopes and counting colonies, and stuff like that. That was really fun. Or like reading a paper and reading like the introduction. You're like, that has so much jargon, and I actually understood that. How did I understand that? It's like a shock, but it's a really good feeling.
So I'm at a little disadvantage here because I haven't gone through the labs yet in person. So I wouldn't say I've had a notable experience yet, but I would say that the material I've been learning thus far has really, really been. It's really fun to go through a class and be like, "Hey, I remember that. I've learned about that before," and just like to realize how much you've like grown and like the way things are changing, and the way your knowledge is shaping up to be. It's really nice to see that evolution in yourself. So I would say that's been notable, especially when you go from high school to college.
That's awesome. Those are all really awesome things to point out. And I think it's true. I think you do get in college like that sequence where you really see things starting to build on each other. And I think that's a really special experience. Um, so talking about course loads and different classes and keeping up with all of your studies, what what are your study habits, or do you have any advice for studying some of this material that might be helpful to future students?
Oh.
Okay, last time I went, so you should go.
Okay. I definitely, with COVID, it's definitely been very difficult because you have your computer screen. I'm sure every one of you is experiencing very similar things. Um, you just have your screen, you're looking at it all day, and then you can't really leave. You can't be like, oh, I'm done for the day. I get like to the point where I feel like I should be doing homework since I'm home and I've been home all day. So that's probably one of my biggest like difficulties or challenges right now. Um, but there are tons of opportunities. I do like Zoom like groups with some of the kids in my class. Like I have a lot of classes with my friends right now, and so we're able to Zoom and go through the homeworks together. And a lot of the classes are like either pre-recorded or synchronous, so at that time. And I'm able to like watch things on 2x speed. Usually it's recorded, so if I need to, I can go back and re-watch those lectures, which is really helpful. I also they have like PDFs that you could print out, or if you like do it electronically, you could do it like that. Normally, though, I would go to the science library. That's my favorite spot, and just hang out there until I had to go to work or whatever, and then head home. And I was able to balance that out a little bit better. But it hasn't been too bad as long as you like know what you need to do and you're staying on top of it. Then you'll be okay.
I think coming out of the summer, it was really important for me to set up a schedule for myself. So that really helped structure the way I was doing things and also helped me slot in times for like when I could get off the computer and go do something else that was like something that I actually enjoyed doing, like just extracurricular activities. So I think that having that balance and just like making sure you take time to take care of yourself is really important. In terms of study tips, I think being aware of what you're doing, because like it can get pretty easy to just, I don't know, like tune out of a lecture and just get blindsided or distracted. So it's really important to just be aware and like try to keep yourself engaged. That's been my biggest issue thus far. So I think it's something that I think we should all be aware of.
If your teacher gives you practice exams, take the practice exams. I cannot stress that enough. That is the top priority if you are studying for a test, because that identifies what you need to review.
Also, Quizlet, just if you don't think you can find it, you're probably gonna find it. I just trust me, it's gonna be there. So go look for it.
Those are great resources. I think I found that studying in college was kind of a different animal than studying in high school. So I think you're right that there are some great resources. And one of our questions here mentions study guides for exams. Is that something that your professors provide? And if so, why are those important?
I think some do. I'm not sure if everyone does, but some professors do offer them, or they might be they won't be labeled as study guides, but they're technically there. There might be homework questions, or as Bree said, there might be a practice exam, or even like a self test that's like embedded into the course. So those are usually really really great opportunities for you to, I guess, practice.
Not everyone does, but they are really helpful if you just like read through the study guide and you think to yourself like, do I know this? And if you don't, you just go back. You can reread your notes or rewatch the lecture, or and then once you do that, maybe do like a couple review homework problems, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, that's all really, really great advice. A while back, Bree, you mentioned being a TA, and I wanted to touch on a couple different things. One of them is just generally do you feel like you have time to do sort of a job if that's something you choose to do, or a social life? And then when we're kind of talking about jobs, are there things to think about in paying for the degree, or scholarships, or things, other ways of paying for the degree that students might want to be aware of?
So I worked like right after I finished my freshman year, I got a job, and that was to try to like pay for like housing and stuff. That was kind of the goal. I worked a lot, and at that time I didn't necessarily have that much time to have a social life, and so that was a little bit difficult. I recently ended up putting like in my 2 weeks and quitting. And honestly, it has been a relief, and it's helped me be able to better manage. When I was a TA and working, that was very, very difficult because you have to like relearn the material, be able to teach it, and you want to be there helping out in any way you can. And it's kind of difficult when you're at work too. You're thinking about like, oh, there are these things that I need to do, but it is doable. So if you find yourself in that position, you can do it. You can absolutely do it. You can find a job on campus too. I think that'd be a really good opportunity because that way you're not traveling too far, you know where it is, and then you can always just hop over by the science library and hang out there for a couple hours in between shifts and classes and stuff. Um, it You have to learn time management very well, but it is absolutely doable. I'm not a partier, um, and and I hope nobody is at this point in time. But when things get a little bit better, and if you do see yourself doing that, just do it safely and make sure that you're spending your time wisely, and that you're doing what is making you happy, but also is not going to be detrimental to you.
I technically have no experience, so just take what Bree said.
I think well said. I think great points on time management, and really just trying to prioritize what it is that you're at school for. I think really goes a long way. I think I've got two more questions, and maybe we can transition into talking a little bit about the mentorship program, because I think that's really exciting. Or maybe let's do one last question, and then that can segue us into the program. But if one of our, and you do work with high school students, but if one of our high school students said that they are interested in kind of following in your footsteps, who wants to do what you're doing, what's the biggest piece of advice you would give them, or something you wish someone had given you?
I would say go into college if you're going to live in the dorms. So try to get out of living in the dorms, in my personal opinion. I didn't enjoy it as much, but also if you go into the dorms, maybe like see if one of your friends or a friend's friend wants to be your roommate. I didn't get the greatest match. So that's my biggest takeaway, to be honest. Like, but you can do what makes you happy. Yeah, if you're passionate about biology, uh we can maybe talk about it if we get matched up, if you do the MAPS program. Um it's really easy to get into. There's so many options, and yeah.
I think something that would be really nice as a high school student. This is something I know that not everyone can do this, and I was actually quite privileged and lucky to have been able to. Was to be in a research lab for a couple of weeks. So I was able to intern at Oregon State University in a chemistry lab, and so that was really nice just to help solidify my interest in chemistry, and also to understand like what aspects of chemistry I did like and what aspects I didn't. So even if that internship doesn't turn out or the research experience doesn't turn out as well as you wished it would have, it kind of tells you what you don't really want. So that in itself is valuable experience. And even if you don't do physical internships or research experience in high school, it's also nice to just research virtually any professions or careers that you might be interested in. Figure out what's a day in the life like on YouTube. There are so many videos about what's a day in the life of like some person in a particular profession. So I would highly suggest watching those. That's become my new obsession in quarantine is watching videos like that. So that's been really fun to do. But yeah, I just kind of like explore as much as you possibly can. I know with COVID, it's not easy anymore, but whatever you can, I think that's really important just to kind of put your toe in the cold water and figure it out just a little.
I have also been on that binge of the day in the life. And I now take back what I said, and I would say do research. Yeah, like being a part of a research opportunity has been like one of the most amazing opportunities and experiences that I've had. And if you find something interesting, you can just reach out to a teacher and say like, hey, like, where can I do that?
Thank you both so much for bringing up research, actually, because I would love to share another opportunity that I think if research appeals to you, I think would be a really great thing to get involved in. And I think sounds like we should link some of those day in the life videos too in our description. So check those out because that sounds really fun. And housing too, I think is huge. I think it's worth talking about, and that's where it's worth researching. And maybe you want to get involved in, we have academic research communities at the University of Oregon. So it might be worth putting some time in to think about if there's a particular community you want to be a part of that might help with some of those common interests. But I'm going to share real quickly an opportunity we have coming up based on research, and maybe Tulsi and Bree, maybe you've been involved in this before. So for about 15 years, the University of Oregon has had an undergraduate research symposium, which is where people from all different parts of the university, many different departments, come together, and undergrads can share any research that they've been doing, really with the message that there are tons of things to research, and that it's something that everyone should get involved in for the reasons that Bree and Tulsi have said, is that it really helps you just learn about the world around you and think about your interests. And this year, we're having a special pre-college day that all of you are invited to. So you can come learn about college, learn about research, learn about why you should care, talk more with college students. You can learn about what that experience is like. It'll be really fun. You'll just get to see lab tours and demonstrations and meet professors. So just a really great immersive experience. Both Tulsi and Bree have mentioned trying to get involved with some of these opportunities to explore what it is you're interested in. And this is a great one. So Thursday, May 21st, noon to 1, or rather, excuse me. Yeah, I'll put a description in the description link to this website and to the registration when it comes up. It's something a lot of schools are doing, so you can register with your school. But definitely something to get involved in if this appeals to you, if research sounds exciting, or if you're just not sure. So yeah, have Bree, have you done anything with the research symposium?
I have not personally, but I've had a couple of friends that have, and it sounds like a lot of fun, a little bit scary, and like a wonderful learning opportunity, and also has helped them go on to like go into grad school and stuff. Tulsi, one of them was a chemistry major and has gone on to like a master's program, and yeah, it like really helped her in deciding like what she wants to do.
That's awesome. I think, and I want to correct what I said, it's May 26th. It's the 21st, but that was a registration deadline. But yeah, so really fun thing to get involved in. Another thing I really wanted our students here to showcase is the Map It Out program. So we've talked a ton about what it's like to be in college and to study healthcare and science. And if you're like me, you're just thinking of all of the ways you can share this information or get excited about it. And so we wanted to share a way that right now you can get involved and start on your journey if this is something that you're excited about or something you want to pursue. So we've got a little slideshow here, and Bree and Tulsi can talk a little bit about this opportunity.
I am not sure if on here it is screen sharing or not, or if you wanted me to, but oh, you're on mute.
If you're able to screen share, that would be great. If you are not able to, I should be able to pull it up.
Okay. Here. I'm gonna screen share on like a PDF thing because for some reason that opened up.
That looks good.
So
Yep,
maps.
work great.
Oh, sorry. So MAPS is pretty cool. It's the Minority Association for Pre-Med Students. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but it's, so this slide says it all, but we basically want to bring everyone together. And, you know, if you're med oriented or questioning or not, we just want to like address questions and be able to help others. And also to help like pre-med students obtaining their path to medical school, and to give opportunities to the students here and hopefully to you too, if you're a high schooler. And so we have quite a few events that we do. Some of them are a little up in the air because of COVID. And one of the ones that we're most excited about right now is the Map It Out program. And so right now we are trying to get together a group of, we've got college students that are going to be mentors, and we are hoping to find some mentees. And so if you are interested, we do have, I think there's a link that can be sent out and you can sign up there if you're interested. We're basically helping people in diverse and underrepresented backgrounds interested in a career in healthcare or research, and basically helping you through the process, helping you know what opportunities are available for you. And just if you want to talk about the just applying, it's a little bit crazy and a little bit scary, but we are here to help you. And yeah, any questions at all? And then, yeah, so we've got like our team. Min founded this. She's the president right now, doing an amazing job. Shout out to Emily Ye and Chris and Michelle and Kinsell. I don't know her as well, but they're some of my favorite people. Yeah, and so right now we're recruiting high school students, and we plan on like hearing from different speakers in healthcare fields. And then we are like partnering, we're accepting donations and stuff. I assume not too many high schools are gonna be doing that, or high schoolers. And then this is basically just kind of going through some ideas with it. We are hoping to give like certificates for the volunteers, and then maybe do like a strawberry DNA dissection. I don't know if you've done that before, but it's pretty darn cool. And getting to hear from those guest speakers. And yeah, I didn't really know how to go through that, but if you have any questions, feel free to email UO Maps. And yeah, you're welcome to reach out, and that link will be sent out, I hope, I think. And You can sign up there if you're interested. You're also welcome to ask more questions if you'd actually like to.
Thank you, Bree. That was fabulous. I would like to, yes, I will make sure that all of this information is also in the description so that you can get to it really easily. And then you can have the contact information and just a couple different ways to reach out and get more information. So we'll be sure to share that. I also wanted to shout out to our sales students. Sales students, if this is an opportunity that looks exciting or interesting to you, if you qualify for SAIL, it's 99% certain you would qualify for the Map It Out program. So definitely jump on this opportunity if that's something that's exciting to you, because I just think it's amazing. Get to meet some amazing people and really just give you a jump start on all of the things you'll need to get started in college. I think you mentioned that there's FAFSA help, there's help maybe with different tests to come in or your application materials. So that would be my advice, is any resource you can get that will help you with that process. You're going to thank yourself later. So really fabulous opportunity. Well, Tulsi and Bree, if there's anything else you would like to add, we have a little bit of space for that. But I just wanted to thank you both for being here and for being so generous with talking about your experiences and sharing your time. Really, I learned so much, and I just really appreciate that we're able to partner with you in this way.
Thank you for having us. We're super excited to be here. And for any of the high school students, feel free to reach out. If you're interested, please, we want to help. Just let us know. And yeah, thank you again, Megan, for having us.
I'll echo that. Thank you so much for having us. And I actually learned a lot just from listening to Bree. So there's a wealth of knowledge coming up from these upperclassmen. And honestly, I'm just here to help you because high school was literally 6 months ago for me. So it was probably freshest in my mind. But yeah, we're just here to help, and feel free to reach out to us.
Awesome. Well, have a great rest of your week, everyone. Take care, be safe, and we will see you next week.